Not gonna lie, this is probably gonna be the greatest video I've ever met. What the? Oh, right. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Rent a Girlfriend's manga supposedly ended. Even though I found a video that says there's a chapter 381. So the current state of the manga is it's a dumpster fire at this point, not gonna lie. And just like any piece of media that has been going on for years or has just recently started or is still in its early stages, people people are very critical. And unfortunately, I am aware that I do this too on my channel. I have probably 3 to 4 of those rage bait videos myself, and hopefully this video doesn't become one of them because my viewing of this ending, well, quote unquote ending, isn't really going to be focused on the ending too much. Now, to explain in further context, I'm only going to be explaining my opinion on the series through my viewing of the anime. I have never read a single chapter of the manga, so when I do eventually discuss the ending in this video, it's going to be very, very wavering because, again, I'm going by the adaptation, not by the source material itself.
Bruh, you do realize if you say this stuff, you gonna get demonetized.
Dude, this channel isn't even monetized in the first place.
That don't matter, man. You better be sure you want to talk about this part.
So, episode 1 starts out with Kazuya being brokenhearted and blowing his nose, for a very safe choice of words, all because of this bitch right here. We will get to her sorry ass later. And how does Kazuya deal with the heartbreak? He does what any man does. He takes his hard-earned yen and invests into some real... Nah, let me stop playing. He actually tries to rent out some to make himself feel better. And in all honesty, it's actually a pretty decent date that he has with Chizuru. He takes her out to the aquarium. She points out the facts about the different fish in the aquarium. And quite honestly, he's digging her a little bit, but at the same time, he's still a little bit heartbroken. And from my perspective, this is actually a very normal depiction of how most dates work, whether they're business related or actually love related. Both parties had a good time, is what I would say if this idiot hadn't done what he fucking did to Chizuru. I'm not a Chizuru stan though. Anyway, Kazuya gets pissed off and does what any terrible person would do, is make a Yelp review, and this severely pisses off Chizuru. And I'm sorry, I have to stand with that dumpster fire of a fandom that Rent a Girlfriend has. Kazuya should have not have done this. If you don't like what she did, like, you don't have to bash her like that. This is her job. Like, that's literally the most degenerate thing to do out there, and I get it. Kazuya's a degenerate, and rightfully so. Chizuru does get on his ass about it the next time she sees him. And so Kazuya, being the simp that he is, he folds and tries to make her understand things from his perspective. And I can't remember how they resolved it because it's been about maybe a year or two since I watched the first season. But I know it pretty much ends with them finding out that they're neighbors. Welcome! Okay, if I had to be honest about Kazuya, he's not that bad, y'all.
What? I know good and well you did not just say that.
But yeah, if I'm being honest, Kazuya kind of reminds me of me and other dudes that are in their 20s. We're still trying to figure things out. You know, if I had to describe the type that Kazuya is and I am and other dudes are, we're the dude in class that has good morals, but we obviously need a little bit of guidance. Although he does do a lot of dumb shit all the time. But overall, he's not that bad of an MC. He's not like terribly written. He's just, for lack of better words, he's just poorly, 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 poorly.
Alright, bro, we get it. He's misguided. Damn.
And also to bring it up, in season 3, he was there for Chizuru all the way through, even after her grandma had died, which showed that even though he was in love with her, again, as I said, he's the one dude in the group that's got good morals, and, well, you can't fault him for it. he stuck with her along the way. And also the fact he's voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, Alex Lee himself, Jinvu. I'm not your boyfriend! Alright, let's talk about Ruka and her whole character arc. Okay, so as the technical third love interest, because I still count Mommy as number one and Chizuru as number two, Ruka is Panini from Chowder, except with Panini it's funny. With Ruka it's just sad. Now, does this mean I hate Ruka as a character? No, I don't hate Ruka as a character. If anything, I have a teensy bit of sympathy for her because she's just a girl who, her whole backstory is that she has cardiac problems. And as someone who comes from a family who has cardiac problems, I'm talking about myself, I understand her whole situation. Her heartbeat can't go very far, beating wise, or else she'll have a stroke or any other cardiac arrest issues. So when she finally meets Kazuya, her heart condition, like her heart beats up to like, I think it's 85 beats per second when probably normally it's around maybe the high 70s, low 80s. That's when she falls in love with him because it's depicted as in that is the very first time that she has ever been, had her heart rate up that high and she didn't have any issues. Now, does this justify her and what she did to Kazuya and blackmailing him in the episode where she confesses her love to him? And just like in Chowder, Chowder and Kazuya clearly have no romantic interest in the women that they see. Although it is revealed at the end of Chowder that Chowder does end up with Panini, but it's not out of love. I would say it's out of like just pity, just like I said about Ruka. It's just out of pity. But as I said, she literally forces herself on him, and it gets to the point where he literally had to jump out of his apartment's, I think, balcony to get away from her. And she had the audacity to just cry and bawl her eyes out because he ran away from her. I mean, again, I have said before that she's in love with him because of her heart condition, but it's very stalkerish. Like it's not very good. If a guy was doing this to a girl, it would be very, very, very bad and looked down upon. But I don't know, for some reason it's just she feels justified that she needs to blackmail him, and I don't really like that. Now, some of you may be thinking, wow, Ruka's character is really that terrible? No. She does have some positive attributes to her. Like, one, Ruka is shown that she can cook. She will cook for the man that she loves. And I can't really show the image because, again, I'm using still frames to not get copyright strike. But this woman is, like, aside from the crazy bitch stuff, this woman will cook a whole meal for her man. And I ain't gonna lie, I would do the same thing too for a girl that I liked. And the woman knows how to kiss. If any of you have watched season 2, episode 10 of Rent a Girlfriend, and no, I didn't go on the Wikipedia to find out where this scene came from. Which episode this scene came from. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, this woman will show her love for you if you ever doubt that love. She will make sure that that love is delivered. But overall, again, aside from her just being cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, Ruka morally is a good person. She feels the way we all feel. We don't want to be alone. Hopefully not to an obsessive degree like her. But, we all don't want to be alone. We all want somebody to be with. But, sometimes that doesn't happen. But if it doesn't, it's okay. Things will be all right, and you will find that person. And if you won't, again, everything's going to be okay.
Oh, wait, you're an upperclassman? How cool that you're my neighbor.
Okay, I don't have much to say about Minnie because by the time she does show up by the third season, her character can be narrowed down to cosplay girl who watches a lot of anime. And my honest opinion on that is you are what my future son or daughter is gonna be when they are raised by me. And I honestly see that as a good thing. I love anime. She loves anime. I could just see myself having my kid, well, seeing her as my kid, and watching the same stuff I watch, and we would just have a good time all day. Father and daughter, or father and son, whichever one. So for this section, I was going to use Sumi's voice, but I forgot that Sumi doesn't speak all that much in the series, so I had to use my own to fill in the gap. Now, my honest thoughts and opinion on Sumi as a character. Honestly, I like her character arc. She is basically an introvert who is trying to get out there and interact with people more. It's very difficult, and yeah, for an introvert, that's a big step in life. And I can't help but root for her. You can't help but root for her. And shoot, non-Rent a Girlfriend fans can't help but root for her. And even the deranged ones root for her too, because she honestly is the purest character in morality and intention-wise, actually.
Tricked all of us? You should be ashamed of yourself. But seriously, don't you feel empty inside when you pay her money?
I should have said discussing your character for the very end of the video instead of discussing the ending itself.
Okay, I'm gonna go on a bit of a rant here. How do you exist? Why can no one be happy around you? Why do you post private messages to yourself about how you think that everything about Kazuya, Chizuru, Ruka, and I don't even know if she knows who Sumi is, and the fact that you met with Kazuya's grandma, if I'm not mistaken, in the end of season 3, what is the point of your existence? Like, do you just want to be miserable all the time? And before anyone points out something from later on in the manga, yes, I am very well aware of what it is, but that's no excuse. If you're not happy, then don't drag everybody else down with you. Look, we all go through our own shit, but stop it.
Yeah, usually when I'm in a bad mood.
Okay, my honest opinion on Chizuru is she is that one girl in the class that you have a crush on. You've had a crush on her since middle school to high school, and now you're both going to the same college. You've had this crush for God knows how many years, but you still hang on to it, and I feel Kazuya on this one because I did this too. Didn't go all the way up to college. It stopped at high school, but with the recent stuff with the ending, which not ending, I will get to after this section. Chizuru, again, it's like how Finn described it in Adventure Time. You're climbing up a tree that you will never get to the top of, or it was some quote like that. It was some quote like that Finn had made, and that's what Chizuru basically is. She's not a bad person, but at the same time, Kazu, you're climbing a tree that you will never reach the top of, and if you do reach that top, it's not as sunny and bright as you think it is. Adventure Time reference. Okay, if you guys have stuck this far into the video, I appreciate your support. My opinion on chapter 380 of Rent a Girlfriend is honestly not that bad of a letdown. And the reason why I say this is because, again, I watched the anime. Well, I'm currently watching the anime. I have never picked up a volume of the manga. I've seen it in bookstores, but I've never actually read it from start to finish. Well, I know this isn't the finishing point, but we're getting off topic here. My thoughts on this is like as I said in the previous section, Chizuru is the type of girl that no matter how high you reach, you'll never get to her. It's a sad, unfortunate reality, And also, reason number two, the author of Rent a Girlfriend's opinion on Kazuya and Chizuru's relationship. And before I discuss my opinion on the creator, I will not show an image of him in this video because the man already suffers from criticism as it is from the fans. So I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, Reggae, which I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, has a weird obsession with Chizuru being in his life. And there's nothing wrong with drawing your main character or secondary character in certain perspectives. I mean, they're your work, they're nobody else's work. But from a writer's perspective, this is very bad because this shows that you are very obsessed with someone that is literally something you have on pen and literal paper or maybe pencil. You never know. Pencil or whatever. But as a fan of the series, it didn't really disappoint me because I don't watch Rent a Girlfriend for the story. I watch it just because it's very entertaining. And I also watched it because people shitted on it a lot. And when I actually sat down and watched it, yeah, I could see the dip in quality with the each season. Like season one was fun to watch because Kazuya was just doing all types of crazy things with the girls. Season two is kind of a blur to me because it's the same premise as season one, except the stakes are just bumped up a bit with Ruka meeting Kazuya's parents. And season three, in my opinion, is the best story wise because it's focusing on what it's like to do, film production and doing a Kickstarter project as well. And at the same time, it has a very emotional moment with Chizuru and her grandma passing away. I really liked that. I felt that. I genuinely felt that. And it was really good, really good. And the ending was pretty good. The ending of season three felt like Chizuru and Kazuya are just friends. It just feels like that. And that's how I genuinely feel about the quote unquote ending, even though there is a chapter 381. Supposedly. I could be wrong. I honestly think that Chizuru and Kazuya are better off as friends. They're genuinely better off. And if I was Reggae in this situation, I would have just scrapped the whole concept of him trying to date Chizuru and just make him be friends with her, and they just go on dates just to have fun with each other. Or if Reggae ever decides to reboot Rent a Girlfriend, which I don't think you can do that with manga. I don't think you can reboot them. But if he does, he should either make Chizuru and Kazuya just really good friends. They never just date. It's completely platonic, or make them brother and sister biologically, brother and sister, and just have a whole series just about them living together. Helping each other date different people, and pretty much just have a healthy platonic relationship or familiar relationship. And yeah, I mean, again, this ending doesn't really surprise me because we all know Kazuya is not gonna get Chizuru. Like at the end of the day, come on, people. We all know he doesn't do that. Like, yeah. But hey, that's just my opinion on the series as a whole. Am I gonna keep watching it? Of course, I'm gonna watch it to the end, just like how I did My Hero Academia. Reading it till the end. I mean, to be honest with you, it's an okay series. Like Rent a Girlfriend's not that bad, despite the degenerate moments. I mean, there's worse MCs out there. There's worse anime out there that just have a very trash premise, but we still watch them because we love the medium. We love to see the creators thrive, and overall, at the end of the at the end of the day, guys, it's entertainment. Have a good day. Like and subscribe. Thank you.